What's up, design family, and welcome back to another episode of Fittdesign TV. So glad to have you back on the channel. On today's episode, we'll be looking at how to launch and maintain a direct and consistent brand message across your brand. This is something that is often overlooked, but so extremely important for fashion brands. How do you set yourself apart from the competition? How do you ultimately make sure that your USP or your unique selling point is consistently and properly being identified? On today's episode, we'll look at how to maintain a singular and consistent brand message, and ultimately look at 4 key ways to maintain that consistency and 4 key challenges that every brand trying to have that consistency is going to have to overcome if they are to be successful long term. So if you've ever been interested in figuring that out for your brand, or if you have an idea for a new brand, don't overlook the idea of consistency. This is going to be the episode for you. Hey guys, and welcome to Fittdesign TV. So glad to have you here. On this channel, we discuss all things sports fashion, graphic design, manufacturing, and technology. We'll discuss key topics, answer pressing questions, and provide actionable steps on starting your own product line. If you're interested in any of the above topics, stick around. You're in for a good one. When it comes to creating a singular brand message, consistent messaging is going to be the key to building and maintaining a strong brand long term. Making sure that each and every season, all the components within your team and your brand are going to be consistent with the core values that are the fundamentals of your brand, that you've established and made clear, is going to be the way that you maintain and direct that singular message long term. How does one establish and maintain consistency? Well, it's all starts off with number 1. You need to create a single direct message for your brand. When it comes to consistency, it's all about that single direct message. Your brand's values, the identity, the tone of voice, the style should all be presented in a focused and direct way, one that consistently aligns with this direct message that you're trying to put out. Number 2, you need to engage in constant repetition. You should be emphasizing your brand's values and messages over a long period of time in order to tap into your customer's subconscious. Just look at a brand like Rolex. When you think of Rolex, you definitely think of luxury. They've done this over tens and tens of years, solidifying themselves as a premier luxury brand, and it's not even a doubt in your mind that when you think of Rolex, you think of supreme luxury. This is the power of repetition and constant consistency in their messaging. Number 3, you need to stay focused. You need to focus on selected core items that stand for your brand so that you customers can ultimately recognize the main selling points of your brand. Developing too many products too quickly is going to distract and confuse your customers, especially the loyal ones that follow consistently on your brand. Number 4 on this list is you need to provide guidelines to team members. Consider creating a brand guide that explains what your brand is, what the values of your brand are, the mission, propositions, your differentiation factors, and ultimately the tone of voice that you're trying to set. Making sure that these are shared with the whole company is essential. Share them with everyone. Share them with your marketing department, your design development department, production team, so on and so forth. Making sure that everyone has access to these key materials will give everyone a point of reference to go back to, and something that has been created from a centralized point that everyone can draw from. So it's all well and good to try to maintain consistency across your brand. And yes, it is easy in theory, but it is easier said than done. There's going to be challenges that every brand trying to have that singular direct message is going to have to overcome. And this starts with how your brand interacts with ever-changing trends. Consistently following trends season after season means that yes, you may be favored for a short period of time by the majority of people. However, by always chasing trends, you're going to fade into the background and you're going to end up losing the identity that makes you unique. Just look at brands like Zara and H&M. Yes, they sell in large quantities. However, what are those brands known for? You can't necessarily think of anything that visually distinguishes a Zara shirt from a H&M shirt. And this is a problem, especially in the fashion space. So consider if you must add trend details. Look at adding on-trend details that align with your brand's core values and visuals and try to make it your own. At the end of the day, you want to put out something to the world that is unique to you and tells a story that is yours. And number 2, you'll want to strike a balance between creativity and consistency. It's extremely hard to be creative and consistent at the same time because naturally you'd like to evolve your brand collection after collection. Every time you make a new collection, you'd like to give your customers something new to experience. But in doing so, you may risk alienating these customers that have come to love certain core parts of your brand. So making sure that you maintain an element of consistency is going to give the customers that love your products a sense of familiarity and keep them coming back time and time again. At the same time, it's going to take a lot of effort to get that balance right, and there's no easy way to go about it. You just need to experiment. Number 3, you'll need to overcome the varying voices of the team members. What does this mean? Well, it's difficult to keep a consistent tone of voice with multiple team members representing your brand. Their perception and understanding towards your company, along with how they themselves communicate, is going to be extremely different. Ultimately, the employees themselves may not even know they're projecting a different version of your brand than the one that is intended. Number 4, beware of the different routes of expansion. There's going to be chances for you to expand your business as you continue to grow. But ultimately, not all of these opportunities are going to resonate with your brand's core values. You need to choose the approach that best fits you and your core values in order to avoid alienating and confusing customers. Just think of a luxury retailer that gets asked to be put in a department store where you're selling regular and mass market goods. This may not be the best look for your luxury intention. So bear that in mind and make sure that your expansion is not just for the sake of expansion, but it also taps into your core brand values. That's a wrap, guys. Hopefully by now you have a better idea of how to maintain and establish a single direct message for your brand. Also, we looked at the 4 key ways to have or to ensure that consistency, as well as the challenges that you might have to overcome. If you guys enjoyed this video and want to see more, please consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. We put out great videos on a week-to-week basis that you don't want to miss out. Also, consider smashing a thumbs up so that can help us out and more people can see these videos, because we love to share what we're passionate about with the world. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of Fittdesign TV. Until next week, stay awesome.